How to clean hand wash only sports pads in a washer and dryer. I started roller skating about a month ago, and the time has finally come to clean my pads. So come along on this journey with me. God, these First things first, I took all of the individual pads out of my helmet because they are Velcroed in, so those come out and I can wash those. My wrist pads, I took the little protector that's in there out of that. That way it's just as little plastic as possible, as most fabric as possible. These guys, I couldn't do very much with them because these are all riveted on. I did double check, they do not pop off, unfortunately. So I just kind of have to wash them as is. They all say hand wash only. Let me just read this to you while I try to hold my breath. I sweat into these the most. They need to be washed the most. Care, hand wash only. Hang dry, do not bleach, do not iron, do not dry clean. Literally, like, the only suggestion is to hand wash them. I have found so many videos online telling you to clean them by just laying them out in the sun or just spraying them with disinfectant. Y'all, that doesn't clean anything. It might make it smell a little better, but you're not cleaning anything because we have body oils that are going to seep into this, sweat is going to seep into this, dirt is going to seep into this. Spraying a disinfectant or laying these in the sun is not getting any of that out. Just because it smells better doesn't mean it's clean. You're gonna clog your pores by leaving that crap in here. I put all of these smaller bits, so my helmet pads and my wrist guards, into one bag. This laundry bag is mesh so that water and soap can go through it. It has a zipper, and when it's all the way zipped up, it has a little elastic that prevents it from unzipping in the wash. This is how I would wash my most delicate stuff, which is like the hand wash stuff anyway. And everything else is getting tossed in as is because it's large enough. And honestly, if it's able to stand up to me falling on them, I think they'll be okay loose in a front-loading washing machine. We're gonna see! I'm gonna use the coldest water possible to wash it, and I did make sure that the detergent that I'm using is good for being used in cold water. This is not an advertisement, I'm just letting y'all know what I'm using. I am using Tide Free and Gentle and Downy Rinse and Refresh, also free and gentle, which means neither one of these has a scent in them because I want to make sure that we're actually removing the scents. So this is laundry detergent, and this is what they call a fabric refresher. For those of you curious about this product, again, this is not an ad, I'm just telling y'all what it does. Even says on the packaging, it's a low pH solution that removes residue buildup that detergent cannot. And you can see all the ingredients here. That way y'all know what we're dealing with. We are using about a 1/4 cup because that is what is recommended for normal loads, and this is a small enough load to where even though it's a little more heavily soiled than usual, it's about a normal load. It's going to equal out. Somehow I managed to forget to film me pouring the laundry detergent. I used 2 tablespoons or about 30 milliliters, which you can see is already in the detergent compartment in the next shot. And as per the directions, this goes in the fabric softener compartment. And thankfully on my washing machine, we actually have a hand wash cycle, but if you don't have a hand wash cycle, you want to use the gentlest agitation cycle that your machine has. Since we're talking about how you need to use the most gentle cycle possible, I want to specifically mention that I would never recommend using a top load washer with an agitator to wash anything that's delicate or hand wash only, even if it has a delicate cycle. They're just way too rough on laundry items, and there's always a chance that the straps from your pads could potentially be damaged by getting wrapped around the agitator. Top load washers with the flat impeller plate should be fine, but I wouldn't use a washer with an agitator for this. If I didn't have a hand wash cycle, I would put it on a delicate cycle. The hand wash cycle does already use cool water, which I'm fine with that. The main thing is I just don't want it on super hot because when you have fabrics that are hand wash only, hot water is usually going to be a lot more detrimental to them than cold. So we're just going as gentle as we can. Soil, I am putting on light because that's the highest I can do on this cycle. In terms of spin, I am going to put low just because I know that this is a hand wash only item. About 46 minutes, we're going to let this go and we will see what happens. 45 minutes later. All right, 45 minutes have passed, and you didn't even have to wait. Lucky moment of truth. That stayed zipped, awesome. This is one of the knee pads. The knee pads were the worst smelling ones. It's perfect! I genuinely don't smell anything at all, which is exactly what I want. I didn't want a perfumey, florally anything in here. I just wanted to remove what was in there. Fun fact, the smell of clean is the smell of nothing. Anybody who tells you otherwise is trying to sell you something. And the thing they're trying to sell you is probably artificially scented. Yeah, unsurprisingly, shells still have dirt and stuff stuck in them. I did not think that was gonna come out of them anyway. In terms of smell, knee pad good. Let's check the other ones. Yeah, this is fantastic. Beautiful, smells like nothing. Okay, now it is about 3 in the afternoon and I have to leave here at about 7 p.m. to get to the skating rink by 7:30. So these need to get dried, but since they are hand wash only, you're not supposed to put them in the dryer either. Usually that's heat related. Thankfully too, they are all just kind of like barely damp. Like I can tell that they got saturated, but it spun out all of the water and everything. So they already have a really good advantage. All right, off to the dryer. We are now in my spooky basement with my dryer and my pads. I'm gonna put these back into the bag they were in with the mesh laundry bags. The big thing is you wanna make sure that whatever you put in here has enough room to actually move around. So don't overstuff them. That's gonna go in there. The rest of the pads are going straight in there. That is gonna be nice and loud in my dryer. We're gonna make sure that the lint has been cleared out from the lint trap. Here's what we're doing. Trying to imitate hand washing and hand drying, hang drying as best as we can. I do not want to use any heat. So we're gonna go to air dry. I'm worried about this. 10 minutes, definitely not enough. Okay, it doesn't do anything other than auto. Oh, I can probably use extended tumble. We like extended tumble. We'll select that. Oh yeah. Right now we have no heat happening inside this dryer. Air dry does not add any heat. So all it's doing very loudly is tumbling all of the pads. But what happens when a dryer is tumbling, you get airflow through that filter and then out through the venting. I will check on this in 10 minutes and assume that I will probably have to add more time. Wish me luck. 10 minutes later. This is exactly what I was hoping was going to happen. First of all, I didn't turn the drum light on, so it's interesting that my dryer turned it on its own. But if you've noticed, the time went up to 28 minutes. I set a 10-minute timer and I came down here to check on this, and this is what had happened. It's still air drying, 28 minutes. The reason why it added time for dry time over here, I put it on auto. Auto means that there's a sensor inside here, and the dryer is not going to stop drying until that sensor detects that all of the moisture is gone. So I am gonna set a half-hour timer. We're gonna turn that drum light off just so that we're not wasting electricity, and we're gonna let it keep going. I'm gonna check back on this in about half an hour. About half an hour later. Okay, it has been half an hour. It's got like a little bit of water left in it, but not much. Honestly, they're not that bad. Okay, smells good. Smells neutral, I should say. I probably want to open these guys up because they're a little bit wet, but it seems like the helmet pads are all pretty dry. I'd say probably like 90% dry or so. They're very, very close. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out flat and just blow a fan over them to kind of evaporate whatever is left in them, because it's mostly what's on the inside since they were kind of wrapped up. So I can say they look a whole heck of a lot cleaner. My wrist guards are absolutely the dirtiest because they're white and they go on your hands. And when you're falling, when you're roller skating, you're supposed to try to fall on like your hands and your knees, keep your elbows soft. So I have fallen a lot on my hands. So those look a lot better. They're just not totally dry. These guys, they're mostly dry, probably also 90%. Honestly, I can say on the air dry setting, it got them 90% of the way there, and I didn't have to do anything. So I'm cool with that because I didn't have to hand wash these. I'm gonna lay them out with a fan. Pads are all now in my bed. I did undo all of the Velcro, and I pretty much just tried to face everything with the surface up that still had the most moisture in it. And then I have my fan blowing directly at all of them. It is on high speed, and we're gonna see what happens. We'll see how long this takes to dry everything out. 1 hour later. Okay, we're back. It's been about an hour because I wasn't paying attention to the time. I wanted it to be half an hour, but it's been about an hour. Oh yeah. Everything seems, as far as I can tell, bone dry. Experimental pad washing process a success. And if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, you win a special prize. And if you skip to the end, you still get the prize. Here are the steps I followed if you want to screenshot them for future use. It took me way longer than expected to put this together for you for free, so if you could also please give this video a like and maybe follow me if you don't already, I would really appreciate it.